from our cabinet when you see so many ministers here for the duration of today, as well as every other person in this room and MPs. So thank you so much for giving up your valuable time today. So I just want to wrap up a couple of key things. The first thing is next week we need to see what's happening in the federal budget, and hopefully housing will be given the significance that it deserves, because it has been lacking previously when funding was cut. So looking forward to seeing the outcomes. And once again, can we please thank Minister Julie Collins for spending today with us. Thank you, Julie. Ideas. Everyone's ideas are important. If you feel that you have not had the opportunity to put forward your submission or your thoughts, or you want to go back and talk to some more people, please feel free. We will set up a portal from this summit that you can submit more ideas in to help government frame where we go to next. I've also, we want to do an immediate stockpile of land holdings and what might be suitable for housing. So I'm going to nominate the DP's Director General, Mike Kaiser, to be in charge of that audit. Thanks, Mike, for volunteering. I've just told him now. See, Treasurer, I can do a bit of comedy too, you know, here and then. Okay, so that's really important to get that stock take happening. Okay, next I think emergency accommodation and funding. Look, we've seen some initial funding that our government set aside, and thank you, Minister Enoch, for doing that. But we do recognise people are sleeping rough, and if we do need to empower our organisations with more funding, it is an issue. We are noticing it more. So we need to make sure that we are targeting our people there. So next is cutting red tape in disasters. So we know that when we do have natural disasters, we do need to provide emergency accommodation. And can I say our agencies, working with council, do a great job in getting people into alternative accommodation, but it's often away from their communities. And the first thing they want to do is get back to community. So I think that's a big issue, and we do recognise the impact that natural disasters have. Next, councils. I want to thank the councils for their contributions today, and also the housing infrastructure they have unlocked, also working with the private sector. And we need to do more work working with, I'm going to say this word positively, developers. Yes, we do. Developers, investors, the social and housing sectors, super funds, to build quickly. We need more housing stock and supply faster. So let's see how we can unlock that as quickly as possible. And of course, I think the key words today, gentle density. I like that. We've got to take the community with us. So I think we all have an obligation here that families want to live close to each other. And that's the problem. The prices of housing, the rents are forcing people to move away to outer suburbs, away from their friends and family. So how do we do that gentle density to keep families and communities together? Prefabricated homes. There's a lot of new product out there. I'm looking forward to seeing some. But honestly, in this day and age, it should not cost, where's Mayor Rayner? It should not cost $1 million to build a house in Birdsville. I am astounded by those costs. So how can we work with councils for some of these prefabricated homes, and then also to getting the training facilities that are needed to empower local communities to have a ready workforce that can actually build homes in their local communities. And I know a lot of work like that is happening up on the Cape as we speak. I've got the next point down as Seq Regional Planning. We've also heard from stakeholders about the importance of reviewing the South East Queensland Regional Plan, and the Deputy Premier has told me that he'll be asking members of the Seq Regional Planning Committee, the mayors of Seq councils, to formally commence a review of the regional plan when they meet in September. Philanthropists, I just picked up, of course, was raised again today in these sessions. How can we, a lot of people say to me, we've got money to invest in housing, where should we invest? So we need to give them some ideas, some tangible ideas about where they can invest. And if they're prepared to do that, we've got to help them. Finally, we will prepare an outcomes report from today's summit, which we hope will capture in detail a lot of issues that were raised in this room. And what I would like to do is table that report in Parliament in November. So, friends, thank you very much for your participation today. I think everyone will agree. Every person I've spoken to said how much they've enjoyed today, the opportunity to discuss these ideas in a forum such as this. So thank you for your time. I'll hand over to Minister Enoch, and just remember, every idea is worthwhile. There is no idea that should be pushed to one side. We need to put everything on the table because, as I said at the beginning, families are counting on us. And I think today is such a significant milestone forward. I'm very enthusiastic. So I'm quite sure everyone will feel that enthusiasm in the room. And when you've got such goodwill, everyone working together, that's what Queenslanders do best. So thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Premier, and I just want to once again acknowledge the leadership of the Premier in not only chairing the roundtable last month, but of course establishing this summit today at this very important time in our history. So, ladies and gentlemen, can I just acknowledge the Premier one more time? We are living in an extraordinary time. Queenslanders are incredibly resilient and we are well known for our optimism, but we have been hit by everything. The 2 years of the pandemic, the weather events that we've been experiencing, and of course all of the pressures now that we're seeing around cost of living and of course around the pressures with regards to housing. And today has been an opportunity to look at some of the facts of what is on the table here. The facts of what the Treasurer explained to us in his presentation, which I think was outstanding, to clearly demonstrate exactly what's going on in the system. And of course to hear from the Deputy Premier about all of the work that he's doing around the planning space that really can be absolutely transformational for Queensland. And each one of the groups that we're able to meet today and talk through that lens of the lived experience, and I just really want to acknowledge those who have come here with those lived experiences. I met Daniel, of course I know Linda and Jordana and others who were very brave to sit here with all of us and talk about what's happened in their lives. And just that realisation for all of us that for some people it's 2 pay packets away that they could be in that situation. And we're seeing that right now. It could be any one of us. But as Queenslanders, we have that optimism, we have that resilience to be able to step up and collectively lead ourselves out of this really challenging time. So that's why today has been so important. The Premier made it really clear this morning that it's about listening and about delivering solutions. And I think the Premier's announcements about an outcomes report will really absolutely take what everybody said here, what you've all contributed, not just in this room, but at the round table and of course at the many workshops and working groups that we certainly have been holding in the housing and homelessness space over the last year to tackle these issues. But now we've got a big team. It's not just those who are at the coalface in terms of homelessness. We now have the big team that's called the Queensland team right across the whole housing system to be able to tackle this. So my call to action to all of you is let's not stop the conversation here. This outcomes report will absolutely focus our attention, but all of you and the colleagues and the sectors that you represent here will still need to have a role in those structured conversations about how we take those outcomes and move them forward for the sake of all Queenslanders and for the sake of our state as a resilient, optimistic state that has so much to look forward to. We've got that chance today to take up the opportunity to ensure that we will still be together, closely working on what it is that we've decided that we'll be doing into the future. So once again, on behalf of all of my colleagues, and of course we've heard from the Premier, our deep, absolute gratitude to all of you for being here today, our deepest gratitude to all of those who have shared their lived experience today. We will use that as the centre of our conversations, place-based, collective leadership that of course focuses on co-design and that is what we'll see into the future. Thank you so much. We're looking forward to a very prosperous, optimistic future.